Hey, what's up? I'll show you now how we can compile our SASS or SCSS into CSS files and have them inside our DEST folder. This is a case that you might want to do, so I'll show you how we can do it. But first, we need to install two plugins to do that. And the plugins is a way to extend Webpack features, because Webpack by default only works for JavaScript. It will bundle that. If we want to do other type of files, we will install other plugins with maybe some loaders. So in our case, we will install two plugins. Let me show it to you. The first one is called MiniCssExtractPlugin, and this is when our SASS compiles our SASS or SCSS into CSS. It will get that files. It will get that CSS that have been compiled and put them inside a file. And the second one will solve a problem that we will face, and I'll show it to you in a moment. So I already installed them. So I will put these in the description, a link for them if you want to read about them, because you can configure them in a much more complex way. Okay, so first thing we need to do, I will remove this style loader. Remember, this will inject our CSS or our CSS code that have been imported. For example, here we are importing this SASS file, which will be compiled, and the CSS will be imported into the DOM. I showed it to you in the previous video inside the style tag in the HTML. So that's what this loader will do. So I will remove it for now, and I will show you what we will do. So let me expand this. Oops. Yeah, like this. So first thing, I will import MiniCssEx like this, extract plugin. This will equal to require the MiniCssExtractPlugin. And at the end, after the module attribute, I will have another one called plugins. This will be an array. And the first one, I will have a new instance from this class. This is why this is in capital letter, not a camel case. I think this is called Pascal case. In JavaScript, constructor functions should, it's a convention that they will be named in Pascal case, okay? Which means start every word in the token with a capital letter. That's what this means. And this, like I said before, will get the compiled CSS and put them inside a file. The same output here, okay, at the same output directory here. So we have our DEST, but you need to give it a configuration. So file name will be dynamic name, no matter what the name of the SASS we have, .css, right? But since we have this, we need to have another entry that points to that CSS. So I will call it main CSS, because we have already our main for JavaScript. So this will be join, and to make this things less repetitive, I will have a variable called base, that this will be equal to the path to the source, and I will have two other variables, the JavaScript source and the SASS source. And let's just wait for my PC to return to life. Okay, so this will go to JavaScript like this, starting of course from base, and then comma. The second one is SASS, and this will be SASS source. Okay, I will start from the SASS source, then go to main.scss like this. And also we need to change this test, because this only work on SASS and SCSS. We can actually do it, which is very nice. So put brackets here or parentheses, then put the OR operator, CSS. So anything that ends with SCSS, SASS or CSS, all of these things will be applied. And we need to have to add the loader from this package, .loader, before the CSS loader, and this should make it work. And it's npm run bundle. Okay, so we will see multiple things. First thing, we have our main css.css. As you can see, let me format it. We have this. We have the same file name but in JavaScript. Like I said, Webpack is by default works for JavaScript, and it will create a JavaScript file for each entry. And this is a JavaScript file for that CSS. It's really empty. This is the predefined code that Webpack does add to all the JavaScript files or the JavaScript bundles. So I will fix this issue. But as you can see, we have the same file called main.css. This is actually comes from a place from our main.javascript. We are importing that SASS file here, and our plugin here will see it and compile and put that compilation inside a file called main.css, the same name we imported it by. But now if you open your browser and go to the web page, since we are only including our main.javascript, the only thing we imported from the DEST, you won't see the CSS injected there. And let me prove that for you, and I will tell you why. Yeah, let's just okay. So now if you go to our head, we won't see the style tag, and this actually happened because, stop this, because we removed our style loader. We removed that, and that what was injecting these stuff inside our DOM. So you need actually to make sure that you only need one of these two. Maybe import your maybe import your CSS inside your JavaScript, or compile it as a JavaScript here. So let me remove this and delete everything from here and rerun again Webpack. Now we should only see a single file called main.css.css, but we actually want to remove this .javascript file that gets created. So this is why I actually installed the second package, which is called webpack-fix-style-only-entries, and yeah, let's just import that. So const, it's also a constructor function, so fix style only entries plugin. So this I would require, yeah, just wait, the Webpack fix style only entries. The only thing you need to do is just to put it here as like this, and that's it. Now let's remove everything from the DEST. So npm run bundle. As you can see, we are only having our CSS file. So this is actually very interesting. You might want this behavior, but for me, don't make these files really big, the configuration for any Webpack. You can create, I already showed you that we can create multiple files, and maybe the files that require you to compile your SASS, you will put them, or the configuration that requires you to do that, you will put it in a separate Webpack file, and JavaScript will have a single file. Just make these shorter, and this is how we can extract our CSS and put them inside the files. But remember, if you imported them here, you will have them compiled again. So yeah, that's basically it. And remember, the style loader will inject the SASS imported here as a CSS into the DOM. So you need to have that, so these will have meaning. I think that will be it for this video. In the next video, I will show you how we can have multiple output directories here, because this is not that organized. In usual case, you might have like many files like this. So yeah, that's it for now, and thank you.